What's up, everyone? You are watching the newest episode of We Are Angel City, the content that's here to highlight this community, our family. I'm Haley Graves, and joining me is a SoCal native that's taken her soccer talents and platform to new heights in her post-playing career. This is Shawna Gordon. Say what's up, Shawna.
Hey, Haley.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. Can't complain. We've got a lot of sports going on. Things are taking off with Angel City. I am in a good place right now, considering what 2020 has been.
That's what I'm saying, given the circumstances.
Yeah, exactly. That's all we could ask for. Okay, Shawna, so to kick things off, we're going to keep things consistent here. And I'm going to give you 30 seconds to tell the audience a little bit about yourself. I will cut you off at 30, and that's all you got to do to get this thing started, okay?
That's a lot of pressure.
It's really not. People think that it's hard to talk about themselves for 30 seconds, but it's not as bad as you think. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Perfect. So I'm Shawna Gordon. I grew up inland about an hour from LA in Rancho Cucamonga. I played college soccer at Long Beach State. I got to play professionally here in the NWSL, in Australia, and in Sweden. And now I'm based in LA still, in downtown currently. So if you hear sirens, that's why. And I have a nonprofit organization called Football for Her, where we mentor and train female athletes, just empowering them. Oh, I'm done. Oh.
Hey, that was great, though. No, that really was great. I love that you were able to touch on all of those things, and it's all things that we're definitely going to dive deeper into now. But first and foremost, I have a slightly serious question for you. This is the most important question of the whole time, okay?
Okay.
So I know your dad played baseball. That's something you credit a lot to. In the similar vein of a walk-up song, if music played specific to you when you were announced on the pitch, what would you choose?
Honestly, I'm an extremist, so when I listen to music, it's either like Marvin Gaye or it's Drake. So I would have to go with one of those. Probably if it's coming out to sports, then a Drake song for sure.
Do you have a favorite? It can be an oldie or a new song.
Ooh, I'm so bad at this. Look one up and then tell you.
That's okay. Hey, you just stan Drake, so we can go with that.
Okay.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. It's always a fun question just to see what people would say, or like, if you walked into a room, what song would be playing as you walked in. I don't even know, like maybe my go-to karaoke song, which is Fergalicious. So that's just a little insider there. But all right, so getting down to it, I've got to ask just point blank. So you've really done a great job of integrating soccer into every aspect of your life. But I've got to know, where did your love of soccer really come from?
So my love of soccer definitely started with my family. My dad played baseball, my mom played tennis, but both of my older sisters loved and played soccer. So every weekend was a soccer weekend. Even when I couldn't play, they were still. Yeah. So I definitely got into soccer and started loving it because of that and them.
Through watching them, what would you say that you really learned, and what characteristics did you take on that inspired you to play?
I would say, honestly, which is why I kind of do what I do now, is we just loved the game. We didn't know about the national team. We didn't know about any professional clubs or anything like that. And we genuinely enjoyed the competition, you know what I mean? And obviously as sisters and females and just humans, we're competitive, and some of us more than others, naturally. And I definitely was super competitive as a young kid, along with my sister.
And like you mentioned, just having the love of this game. You played club soccer with Arsenal for 9 years and then went on to play collegiate soccer. But at what point did you realize that you wanted to make soccer your career?
Yeah, I actually tell this story quite often because I think it's really funny looking back. But it wasn't until a point when I was in college that it really sunk and, stuck with me that I could be a professional soccer player, which is crazy because growing up, I played with the youth national teams and all that. But like I said, I didn't come from a football cultured family, so I didn't understand how everything worked. I didn't understand how anything worked, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had fun. I didn't even know what time my games were, who I was playing. I would show up and I would enjoy it, So there was a time in college where, like you said, I played for Arsenal FC growing up, which is obviously a huge club in England. I didn't really know that. So I had all their gear and everything. So when I was in the cafeteria, when I was a freshman in college, somebody working in the cafeteria was like, oh, like Shawna, like you played for Arsenal, And I'm like, yeah, I played for Arsenal. And he was like, oh, back in England. And I was like, what? Like, Cucamonga. I think Altaloma actually was where we were out of, but that's where, we were living and stuff. And then that's when it really hit of like, one, I knew there was a men's team at this point. I didn't know there was a women's team. And I didn't even know that was an option for me, So then when that came about, it was like, okay, where can I play professionally here? And then now it was the WPS back then, where else can I play? That was something that like triggered that moment for me as a female athlete.
And from there, like you mentioned at the top, you went on to play in Australia and Sweden. Where was your favorite place and I guess your fondest memory getting to play in overseas?
Honestly, they all had a different impact. And I think, obviously in Australia, it was my first official contract. I was here in the NWSL, it was the NWSL, with the Boston Breakers, but then I got injured and before I got contracted and all this stuff happened. So like my first official contract was in Australia. So that was obviously extremely meaningful for me. And it's a beautiful country. You can't really.
Yeah, no kidding.
Sydney. So it was, besides their bugs, it's a beautiful country.
Yeah. What would you say is your favorite place that you've traveled?
Favorite place that I traveled outside of soccer, or
it can even be in relation to soccer, just curious.
Again, that's so hard because honestly, okay, a few years ago I went to Cuba.
Wow.
With my boyfriend, and that was because I obviously traveled when I was younger, but I didn't really get to experience the culture
right
much as I would like to. Obviously, when you're older, you're thinking about different things besides going and playing soccer at a soccer park, soccer pitch. And, I went to Cuba a few years ago, and that was really, really life-changing. I went to Vietnam also. I'm half Vietnamese. So Vietnam maybe 8 years ago.
Wow.
Which was the first time I was like with my family outside of soccer, just on vacation, and that was definitely a really, eye-opening experience, obviously going to a third world country and being Vietnamese and going back to my roots and seeing how my mom lived and all that was pretty cool.
What was it about the Vietnamese culture that really spoke to you, and especially being there with your family?
Yeah, I mean, I think, just living a simple life.
Yeah.
I think, I live in LA, so it's an extreme of the glitz and the glam and, what some people feel is important.
Right.
But I also have that side of me, so I also know where my mom came from. And, she came to the States when she was 16, straight into high school, expected to graduate high school. It's like super crazy. But, I couldn't imagine, obviously, being in her shoes. So thankfully, she took that leap of faith and was courageous and strong in so many ways that I credit her and obviously thank her so much for helping me and getting me there and instilling all these attributes and things that I have because of her, for sure.
What would you say some of those attributes are?
My mom is somebody who I've never heard her complain in her whole life. Which is crazy to me, I complain about the most silly things, and she has never complained. I've never, even if it's too hot outside, which all of us are saying right now, I'm sure, now more than often or more than before. But yeah, I think she never complains. She gets things done. She works extremely hard. and she's a fighter. So
Those are definitely characteristics that I see in you. You know, you have fought tooth and nail not only for your career, but now past that into your new chapter of life. So, as you were transitioning out of the game of soccer, what was your biggest focus?
you know what, I think for any athlete, I've heard like athletes die twice. You know what I mean? Start over, especially as female athletes. We're not set up while we're playing to put us in a good situation afterwards. So
Right.
we have to fight tooth and nail and do even more to set us up for success or to be in a good position to follow our dreams. Because obviously, to follow your dreams and to start a new career at the age of 25 or 30 or 35,
Right.
which is what athletes do.
Yeah.
Is not easy. And I talk to so many, and I'm friends with so many that have transitioned pretty smoothly and some not so much, you know what I mean? So for me, I kind of set myself up before, as far as like before my last season, I told myself, because I was like, I feel like with anything that you're so passionate about, it's like a love-hate relationship, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Last me, I was like, oh my God, I hated soccer so many times, so many moments,
Yep.
but I think it's because I'm so passionate about it. And as athletes, we want to be the best and we want to do the best, and we're not always there, so being
Right.
able to accept that is something difficult. So going into my last season, I told myself, no matter if I play every minute, no matter if I get injured in the first month, no matter, we win every game or lose every game, I'm going to end, how I want to. And mentally, I went in with, I guess, a little less pressure, but pressure because it was my last season. So nonetheless,
Right.
I want to play every minute. I want to do well. I want to do all these things, but I also wanted to end the sport, how I wanted,
Right.
which is what I
Like
did.
to where you were at peace.
Which, yes, because I feel like if I didn't and I ended maybe the season before, I would be in a completely, totally different space.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I kind of made that decision and kind of went with it.
For everyone listening, Shawna has her own nonprofit called Football for Her. She's repping it big right there with her kit. Shawna's also a kit queen for what it's worth. But
I
one of the
like that.
kit queen. But one of the things that really spoke to me was your mission for Football for Her is that you want to educate, motivate, and develop confidence in girls on and off the pitch. So why are those three things the biggest for you?
I think, again, looking back, at what I needed and what the game still needs is there's not enough marketing for the game. Obviously, we've come a long way and we're still making strides, and I love that obviously Angel City is, repped by and a lot of females, which I think is going to change the game. I don't think there's a lot and there's enough, media, like I said. There's not enough women involved. And I think we need to include girls more, and women in general in different things. And like I said, I think we're evolving and things are changing slowly, but which is why I created Football for Her. And, I want to give girls the opportunity, whether they want to play professionally or not.
Right.
That's not the goal of Football for Her. We, we serve all girls. So one, keep girls active and having fun, but also let them know about their opportunities that are out there, because if they don't know that they're there, it's like, how are they going to dream about them? How are they going to know? So, keep girls active, but then also just, let girls know about the opportunity.
No, I love that. I love just hearing you talk because it kind of comes really full circle that you started because you had this love for this game, and then now you're continuing to grow in that love through education of others. And I think that's just so incredibly amazing that you do that for both the young and the old.
Yeah, honestly, it's really cool. I never thought like, oh, I'm going to teach adults, in this scenario. It was like different influencers from all around the world, which is like, they're photographers, they're actors, they're just totally different, like outside of obviously football. So it was really cool, and obviously I hope to keep doing that.
Speaking of actors and actresses, I got to throw out the fact that you were a part of a really, really cool commercial about a year ago for the Women's World Cup tackling Sam Kerr. I even found it on YouTube and I took a screenshot because I was like, there's Shawna, like this is so cool. So tell me about that process and that experience for you.
Yeah, that was for like, I was on there for like half a second, which is what usually.
But I still found you and screenshotted it.
Did you know I was that person beforehand though, or no?
No, like I could tell, like, I was like, wait, that looked like her. And then I went back and I was like, oh, that definitely was Shawna. Like, it was really cool.
Yeah, so I do commercial and print work outside of my nonprofit and what I do, training kids every day if it makes sense. It's not my focus, but I am in a position in LA, and having played soccer a little bit, it kind of just comes my way sometimes, and I do have an agency that does help me with commercial stuff, but yeah, that came about and I was obviously super excited. It was a big Nike commercial, so I mean any big SAG commercial, I'm excited to be a part of it if I can. And then later on, you find out who's in it because you'll get call sheets and things like that, and then it was Sam, which I've played with Sam, so it's kind of funny. Not that I actually tackled Sam, she has a double.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun.
That is so cool. Wow. This post soccer career, it seems like, is almost being sweeter to you than even the game was.
I know. I'm like involved on a lot of different, avenues with the game, besides actually competing, and I still play, sometimes here and there, but definitely involved in every other aspect of the game.
Okay, I have a couple more just fun questions for you. What 99er would you have loved to have played with and why?
Oh, Brandy Chastain. Honestly,
tell me why.
Number 6. I'm just being transparent. She was number 6. Like I said, I didn't watch a lot of the game growing up. I didn't know. I mean, I knew of the women's national team. I didn't really understand how everything worked. And I think, you relate to certain players based off of their position or their number or what they look like. And, I don't think there were any Vietnamese representation.
Yeah.
Then, and there's still not now. I've actually never played with another Vietnamese player, which is actually crazy. Except for a man. I just played with the male Vietnamese player, Lee Nguyen, who was with LAFC. But never any women. But I would definitely say Brandy Chastain, which I've actually met recently, and I've worked with her with another nonprofit. So
yeah. That is a very good one to choose, and one that a lot of people are very familiar with. And then, are you team Lakers or team Clippers?
Lakers, baby.
The Lake Show. All right, Shawna.
Sure. Even though I love Kawhi. Kawhi's really good. I am a huge fan of his, but Lakers for sure.
Yeah, I feel that. All right, well, thank you so much for your time, Shawna. We really appreciate it here. And go ahead and tell everyone where they can follow not only you, but also football for her.
Yes, so you can follow me, Shawna Gordon. It's _ Shawna Gordon _ and then football for her is just football for her.
There we go, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Perfect. Thank you.